Hey guys, Sean C. Phillips here, and welcome to a brand new part of the Q&A series. I know it's been a while since I've done another part of these. I don't know which part I'm at, maybe I think part 6 or 7. But before I start, I want to let you guys know that a film that I'm doing in May, I think mid to late May, called Mountain of the Flesh Eaters, which is a throwback 80s style, like Hills Have Eyes style, out in like the woods, desert kind of thing, which I'm really excited about. Like the kind of movie that I really love to do and watched as well. Is started a fundraising thing. So I'll put the link underneath this video. So if you guys can help with that, be a huge help to the film. The one thing too, I don't think it says on what you get if you donate, but I think as far as I can see, everybody who donates gets a copy of the movie. So even if you donate $10, so that's a good way too to get the film way before, you have to wait for distribution and all that, so you'll be able to see the movie first. So definitely help that out. It'd be a huge help to the film. It's basically just to bring people in from out of state for, name actors and things like that. Anyway, though, I'm going to get into the questions now, and like I said, the link's underneath this video, so please check that out, and I really, really, really appreciate all of your support with everything I've done. The first question is, this is the real Dylan Moore writing. You will know me once I am famous. Here's my question. When do you think it's necessary to attend a film school if you want to be a director? Would it be more productive to jump into the industry or wait to attend classes on the subject? Well, you couldn't really jump right into the industry unless you had, you could start out doing not grips, I guess assistants and things like that, but you couldn't just jump right into being a director. So you'd have to have first, made some films or made some shorts for YouTube. I think that's the best thing to do, I would say, is, get a camera, go out there and just start shooting stuff and then start putting together projects. Because nowadays, it's not that's what I would say. But, it can help to go to a school, but it all depends, if you've already been doing it, already been filmmaking and already making shorts and things like that, it's not necessarily, but if you've never done it before, I would say then it would make some sense. I remember in the film program thing that I was in, which I didn't get a whole lot out of it. A lot of people in there, I noticed, had never picked up a camera before, never made anything before, never shot anything, which was a little upsetting to me that it was like everybody was like that. And they didn't really seem like they wanted to do it. They seemed almost like they were doing it for something to do, but they didn't seem very interested. I don't know what that was about, but I'm sure that can happen in some of those film programs, depending on where it is. If someone's just doing it for a credit and they don't really have an interest, so that you can run into that with it. But I would say just go out there and start shooting stuff, and that's what I did. I used to want to do more directing. I'm going to direct something coming up, but I really prefer to act. Have you ever seen the film TerrorVision? If so, what did you think of it? Also, have you seen many classic foreign films from various authors? Whatever that, I don't know what that said. I don't think that's a word either. But Ingmar Bergman, Jean-Luc Godin, and Fellini. Well, I'm sure I have. I know I've seen Ingmar Bergman's The Virgin Springs, which Last House on the Left, like the original one, used that idea or changed it around a little bit. But The Virgin Springs is very good, better than Last House on the Left. Really, really well done movie. If you're a fan of Last House on the Left and haven't seen that one, definitely watch that. And I have seen TerrorVision. That one's still not on DVD, and I always confuse that with The Video Dead, which has a similar quality because it's about the TV and everything. One funny thing about The Video Dead was I always thought that it was a really, really low budget, poor quality, shot on camera film. And then I saw on Netflix they have it in widescreen. It's no DVD of that though, which I would buy in a heartbeat if it was. But it's in widescreen, looks great. So I guess since I've only ever seen the bootlegs of the movie and the crappy VHS of it, it shows you that VHS can really screw things up and really give you a different view of the movie. Because there's been so many movies that I thought were shot on video, because of what VHS does to it. Hey Sean, here I have a few questions. What actors and actresses would you love to work with the most of all in Hollywood? I don't know, people that I really liked, like Bill Murray and, directors like Ivan Reitman and Howard Ramis and, Dan Aykroyd I'd really love to do something with. People like that, people that I really grew up watching. And, it'd be interesting to see what it'd be like to work with Seth Rogen on those kind of things, and somebody like Adam Sandler and things like that. It would be interesting to work with people like Tom Cruise and stuff. Like, I'm being truly serious here. I could give a total shit. You know, I mean, like, if I saw Tom Cruise on the street, I would be like I would not even be the slightest bit impressed. You know, I don't know. I never was impressed with some of those kind of people. It just, and like I wouldn't, and if somehow I ended up in a movie with him, I wouldn't kiss their ass because it wouldn't matter to me. I don't know, but I kiss people like the weird people's ass. I don't know. I'm very peculiar sometimes. Do you ever see yourself going to digital downloads? I don't love that idea about the idea of it all going digital. I know that's going to happen in years to come, but I mean, if that's the way it's got to be, but I'm going to still find ways that you can get, you know, still get the DVD copies of them. Do you have Xbox 360? If so, are you on live? I don't have that. My brother, you know, Dweebo1234 on here does have that, but I've never really got into gaming too much because I always kind of would get obsessed with the game and would be doing it for too long and I wouldn't be able to get away from it. So I try not to do stuff like that. Have you ever watched The X-Files? I've seen like sporadic episodes of it, like the one that was kind of like Wrong Turn and a couple other ones. I think some of those Freak Show episodes. Hey Sean, big fan. Have you seen any of the Phantasm movies and what do you think of them? Also, you're looking forward to seeing the Fright Night remake? I've seen, I think I've seen all the Phantasm ones, but I really like the first one the best. The first one is so well done. I love that music. Just the whole vibe of the movie is really good. And I'm interested in seeing the Fright Night remake. I love the music in the Fright Night first movie. That one song I always play at night for some reason. That "Come to Me" song or whatever however that is. I don't know. I'm just sort of obsessed about that song. Hey Sean, will you be getting Jackass 3.5 when it comes to DVDs? I definitely will. I think the part 3 comes out in March, I think. I don't know, I liked that movie. It wasn't, you know, as extreme, I didn't think. And out there, some of the other ones, I thought it was a little bit. I'm looking forward, though, to the 3.5 one. Do you remember the first DVD you ever bought? I think the first one was actually Packer and the John Waters movie. And the funny thing about that one was I didn't even have the player when it came out. But I bought it at Borders Books, which I've heard is one of the things that's potentially going to close all of them this year, which is too bad because I really did like Borders. I mean, that was like a favorite place of mine to go as a kid because it's been around for years. But I think that was one of the first ones I got. And then when I actually got the player, the first titles I remember I got, and some reason I remember this, was Willy Wonka and Lethal Weapon 4. And I remember how I was really impressed with the idea of special features, because there was a lot of special features on Lethal Weapon 4. So it was kind of like a huge, big thing. And now, me with the features, I don't know how everyone else is with them. I can't really remember the last time I really sought after watching the features on a disc. Like deleted scenes and stuff, because they're always in shit quality. I'm sure you know what I mean. They usually don't put them in HD. Sometimes they do. Then I watch them, but I just never like go right after, you know, watching them as much anymore. What's your take on the new Little Fockers movie? Are you a fan of the films? I did not like Little Fockers. It was just not very well done. But I liked the other ones. I really, really liked them. And of all the movies that you have made, what is the movie you wish you had movies made? What out of all the movies that have been made, what is the one movie that you wish you had directed and why? Keep making the awesome videos. I don't know. I would love to direct it, which they're doing, I think. I wouldn't be able to, though, but I would love to have something to do with the Bill and Ted 3 if they end up doing that. Same with something like with Pee-wee's Big Adventure, the new one. Like, I don't do extra work, but I would do that just to be on the set of that movie. Just watching. I could care less if I was even in it. I would love to be a character in the movie, but I would love to just watch the whole thing. Because that's like an experience that you can't ever get again. Hi, Sean. What is the rarest DVD and how much did you pay for it? Well, with me, since I buy DVDs so early and when they're brand new and first come out, I'm able to get the movies really quick. You know what I mean? So I don't have to pay the high prices for them. Like, I think the ones that became really rare now are the Afraid of the Dark ones, Body Bags. But I have all You're Afraid of the Darks, every single season of that. And they can sell for like $200 on there on Amazon. And sometimes you can find it cheaper, though. But those are really difficult to find. People ask me all the time where I got them. I just got them on Amazon's Canadian website. I had those things pre-ordered right as they were coming out, so I paid $22 or whatever they were. But what's funny is I still see people at the horror conventions buying those bootlegs. And I'm thinking, and they were doing that right when the DVDs were out, and you could still get them. I'm thinking, why are people wasting money on these crappy quality bootlegs? Have you ever played Heavy Rain for PS3? I reckon you would enjoy it. I don't know what that one is, but I haven't played that. What do you think of Al Pacino? He's my favorite actor, and one of his movies, and one of my favorite movies is Dog Day Afternoon. I highly recommend it. I do like his films. I even like that one that people didn't like. I don't remember what the name of that one was. He was like the cop and searching for things. It was a new one, and a lot of people really hated it, but I liked it. You should do another Christmas DVD update. See, these are older questions, so I didn't get to do one. I don't have a whole ton of Christmas movies either. Like, I have like Silent Night, Deadly Night, and Santa Claus, and that's kind of like what I showed is kind of. They don't make a ton of Christmas movies. You should go back to the rough cuts. How about doing one a month, more of a guest star thing once in a while? I will do that, but the thing is, I pretty much do all that stuff on here. Talk about things and stuff. And it gets so difficult when you have to commit to something specific, like, because I never know if I'm going to be around, you know what I mean? Like, having to worry about that the whole time. What ended up happening with, do you watch Breaking Bad on AMC, and have you ever been teabagged in real life? Well, I know what teabagging is because I've seen Pecker, which I talked to a minute ago, and no, I have never been teabagged, and I've never seen Breaking Bad on AMC. Hey, so I'm just wondering, have you ever watched anime shows or anime movies such as Howl's Moving Castle, Ghost in the Shell, Akira, or even Spirited Away? I have seen Spirited Away. If so, what do you think of them? If not, definitely recommend those ones I mentioned, especially the ones made by Miyazaki. I think Spirited Away is the only one I've seen. But I have seen some of them, though. I do really like them, though. But I don't, sought after them. What do you think about Tim Burton's feature film, Abraham Vampire Hunter? Have you read the book? I've never read the book of that. I don't really know a whole lot about that one. What do you think about the most overhyped movies of the last 10 years? I mean, there's so many ones that get talked, and I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. There's certain movies that are hot at the time, get talked about like there's no tomorrow, and then kind of fade to oblivion. And that happens so much with certain movies. Like, there's so many of them that get like that, and like some of them are good, some of them are not. And I usually don't like to watch the overhyped ones until like years later, when people forget about them. Like, I'm sure I watch Avatar for the first time when, because I've never watched it, because I don't really love CG, movies that are all CG. And the thing is, I've realized now, because someone told me, that don't look at it as a movie with a bunch of CG, look at it more as an animated film. Which I makes sense now, that it really is an animated movie. Hey Sean, any special plans for the 1000th video? I don't know what I would do. I've been trying to think about that. If anybody has any ideas what I should do, and don't say get MJ, because there's no way in hell I can get that to happen. But if anyone has any specific ideas, like anything they want me to do, I'm down for whatever you guys can think of. How do you like the movie Benchwarmers? That's one of those ones that people forgot about. It wasn't like a hyped one, but you don't hear about it much. That one and Blades of Glory kind of like faded into but I think I did like Benchwarmers. What is your favorite movie of 2010? That I don't know. I really don't. Have you ever gotten into a fight? I don't think I ever have. I think I might have gotten into in the 5th grade some kind of a weird argument with this kid named Alex. I remember there being some kind of a situation where in the 5th grade, and he gave candies to this one girl or something, and then I made some kind of a joke because she was joking about him, and then I remember we ended up in the lunchroom. Something ended up happening, and I don't want to go into the full details because it's kind of ridiculous, but the lunch lady saw us arguing or something, so then she made us wait and stay in the lunchroom because she was gonna. I don't think she was gonna send us to the principal or something. She just said sit here, and we had to sit there the whole time. And I remember the teacher. It was a music teacher named Mr. Reed, and he came in there and saw us being disciplined and yelled at by the lunch lady. And luckily enough, I talked my way out of it, and we both did. I started crying about it. It was a mess. It was a 5th grade mess, and I remember Mr. Reed was standing there the whole time like this, shaking his head, looking at me, because I was usually the star student, and having this kind of stuff going on. Then we ended up going to the music class, and it was in that same room, so we just sort of stayed there and walked up on the stage. We were practicing for one of the concerts. They used to force you to do these concerts, and if you didn't go to him and sing, he would mark your grade down one letter. And of course, I didn't go because of what happened later. Me and the kid Alex couldn't stop laughing when we were all practicing, and he kept on saying, quiet down, quiet down, quiet down. Then he made us sit down in the chairs, and I remember he was really upset. So we were sitting down on these chairs. It was kind of like a big bench. It was like this long. There was seats on each side of it, and we would be twirling the bench around and around. So he would look back. One time we were on the one side, one time I was on the other. He was pissed off, but I remember that whole thing. Would you ever go vegetarian for a week for fun? Yeah, I'm not one of those kind of person that really loves a lot of meat. I eat like shrimp and fish, but I don't really love chicken, and I don't love steak, or I don't like if I go to a restaurant, I normally get the shrimp thing, or I normally get like the tilapia fish. I don't get the steak, and I don't like fried things too much. I prefer to get the grilled shrimp and stuff like that. So I would have no problem, and I've eaten like veggie burgers and those kind of things before. Would you do a live show sometime like Blog Talk or Stick'em? Well, I used to do that, but I didn't really love that because usually there would be somebody on there that would have something stupid to say. Then they would say it again and again and again, and I was kind of had about enough of it. What did you think of? But I'm thinking about doing it again. But we'll see if somebody comes on there and starts that again. I don't know if I want to deal with that. Because I'm sure if you guys that did go on there remember there would be maybe 5 people, and they would crowd the thing up so fast by putting something stupid. You couldn't block them. It was a mess. What is your opinion on the Invader Zim? I haven't watched it in a long time, but I did like that. I remember seeing him because my brother really liked the show, at Comic-Con the first year. And he was right in line in front of us. That's when the professionals and everybody were just in the same place. And now the professionals, like somebody like him, wouldn't have to wait in the line. They would just get it from their publicist or whatever that works. But he was in the line. I kept saying to Ethan, there he is. And Ethan's like this, real shy and nervous. The next question is, do you watch UFC? I've never watched that stuff. I'm not a huge fan on that kind of thing. Hey, Sean, I want to know if you ever seen Hatchet the movie, and wanted to know. You also want to know if you've seen the sequel and what you think about it. Also have a Merry Christmas, so you can tell it's an older question. But I've seen Hatchet 1, and I watched it again recently. I really liked that. I really liked the first Hatchet movie. I did not care too much for the second one, and I think that was because I watched it on demand, and it was in full screen, not HD, so it was kind of cropped. So it kind of took a lot away from the movie. So I'm going to have to watch it again because it didn't seem bad. I think it was just that it was distracting watching it that way. I hate when they crop things like that. What will you do for your thousandth video? This mint that's so strong in my mouth. Oof. I hate shrimp and stuff that gives me this indigestion. Yes, I have indigestion, irritable bowel syndrome. I've had it for like 7 years. And you know how it started? The stress of 6 years. the stress of high school graduation. Oh, I remember I was sick. I didn't never talk about this, but I was sick for about a month after it. I don't know, something about me having to go up on the stage. I also have anxiety, stuff all the time, but the stress of having to go up on the stage really set me off. And then I was fine for years, and then when I started working at the movie theaters, when it would get so busy, I would go get, like, panicked. And I don't know if anyone ever had these experiences. And I'm just telling you this because, this is what I dealt with. And, it's interesting. I'm sure people have dealt with this. Where you have the feeling like the floor drops from underneath of you. That's half the reason why I'm not ever working in a movie theaters again. I'm so glad that I found what I like doing in my life. I really am. What's your zombie game plan? I always plan out in my head what I do, where I'd go with a zombie outbreak happen. My plan is to go to Walmart and block off the windows door and stay there as long as I can. It's funny that you say that because I'm always thinking about that as well. And a lot of people think like I'm crazy to think about that. I mean, when I was in Maryland, I used to always think I'd stay at this old folks' home in this like weird little closet because it was like a food closet with like liquor and everything. And I'm thinking, I guess I could live in here. But where I am now, if I got supplies, I could hide in the DVD room because it's a very good door. I mean, it would not be able to fit too many people in there, but I think I could hide in there. There's also like, also something like a Walmart or something like that, but you'd have to really force things. But even the classic way of hiding in a mall, to me, would be very cool. Hiding out in the mall. That's why Dawn of the Dead, the original, is so cool. Because, I don't know, it's just the whole concept of it. And the sequel, I mean, the remake, just didn't capture the same essence of it. It didn't seem as cool. I don't know. Also, Sean, can you give a shout out to my brother David? Well, hello, David. Hey, Sean, I love your videos. My question is, do you think Tim Burton should make another Batman film? I would be interested in seeing what he did with it, now. But I think he's kind of done now with it. And his Batmans are so different than the new Batman that I would almost like to see him do another Batman in his series. You know what I mean? In basically a Batman 3 that really connects to Batman Returns. Because, the other ones, they connect, but it's not Michael Keaton. And I know Michael Keaton would never do it. The thing is, Michael Keaton is a really cool actor. Really likable. And Christian Bale, what killed Christian Bale's Batman to me was I thought he was a really good Bruce Wayne as well, but I felt like when he became Batman, that voice he was doing and stuff was just a little bit ridiculous. What is your favorite Christmas movie? I know you love Home Alone movies, but if you had to choose another one, what would it be? I really do like, the one that I really liked to watch was the Santa Claus, the first one. I did not like those sequels. I just did not care for them. Do you know actor Stephen Tobolowsky? What do you think about him? He has a very interesting podcast on the web known as Tobolowsky Films. Which he tells a story about his life. You should check it out. I don't think I know him. What is your opinion on the movies that feature puppetry, such as the Muppet movie? Do you love or hate it? Do you think the new Muppet movie that is coming out next Thanksgiving will usher in another wave of puppet-centered shows and movies? Yeah, I remember talking to somebody that's working on that movie, and I think Fraggle Rock and stuff. I was really glad they're actually using puppets in it. I always liked puppet movies, and I haven't watched the actual Muppet movies in so long. But even it's babyish. But even Follow That Bird, which was a Sesame Street movie, which a lot of people put that down. But as a thing I grew up watching, it was amazing that they were able to. It's just when you need to watch that movie if you haven't seen it and you want to watch something puppet and that kind of style. Because it's not very as kiddish as you'd think. It's a little bit. But, they got John Candy. They got so many 80s icons to do cameos in it. It was a very cool concept. I'm hoping that the new Muppet movie is kind of going to be like that. And, gets a bunch of cameos and stuff. And gets cameos, too, from people that were during on the Muppets back then in the 70s and stuff, not all like who's hot right now and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's JoJo. Oh, JoJo, I don't know where she went, but oh, it's JoJo like went off the face of the earth. But if somebody like, oh, it's Justin Bieber or something like that. Have you seen Video Dead or Nightlife? Well, I just talked about Video Dead. I haven't seen Nightlife though. Video Dead though is cool. What's your favorite Pokemon? MJ really got into that, but I never got into Pokemon. Remember, I used to have this hat that was so, like, I wear a small hat, not just because, it's Adam Rifkin's hat, and it's kind of become the look of these videos, this small hat. But MJ had a really small hat, smaller than this hat, and he wore it around once in the mall, and I couldn't stop laughing. He was so mad at me. It was like the 7th grade, this Pokemon, like, symbol on it. I never forgot that. What do you think of Tarantino? Do you like his films? What's your favorites? I've liked everything of his I've seen. So I've liked him. Who is your favorite actor and actress, favorite director, and why? Those ones are always so difficult for me to know because I need to really think about it. Have you ever been bullied at school since you hate school so much? Yeah, and stupid. Not as much in high school. It was really in elementary school. I remember there were like at the playground and stuff. People used to, of course, always the fat guy thing. Now I'm kind of the funny fat guy in movies, and I've learned to deal with it and get away. I don't mind anymore. And I've showed all of them. I've made something out of being the fat guy. So I kind of hope all of them are eating their foot now for saying that to me. But there was a lot of that. The mean fat guy jokes. And the worst was in like gym and stuff. When you're like the last person picked to be on the team, I fucking hated sports because of that too. And I think that's half the reason I really don't like sports, is because I would always be like the last person picked. It would always be a big thing, like, oh, it's Sean, you got Sean on the team. And then in middle school, there was just a bunch of dicks there. Just everybody was rude to everybody. And it wasn't even just the fat guy thing. It was then everybody was a dick. I remember one time there was this one kid, Danny, and he knew that I really hated being late for Spanish because the teacher was real anal about everything. And if you were late for things or you missed an assignment, he would make you stay for lunch. And I always remember how he was like the teacher of the year. There was this big picture on the back of the wall. And I always would look at it. And it's him with Tia and Tara Mallory or something. And him like this, like holding this teacher of the year trophy. And them like this. Like that to him. And I never could forget that thing. And I remember we gave him these puppets from IKEA. He used to always go, hello, buenos dias, with these puppets. It was ridiculous. But I ended up being late for his class because this guy made up a story and said that I was bullying him or something like that. And then after I got stuck in the room the whole time with him, and then he whispered to me and said, see, Sarn, I made you miss the class. I knew I would make it work or something. Then I told the principal, and then it was a mess. But all kinds of stuff. People giving me and MJ so much crap, saying you're boyfriends and stuff. Just so much stuff. Now, I don't care if they think that, but so much just never-ending crap. But then in high school, when we started doing stuff in the announcements, people started liking us. And then now at the high school reunion, like 2 years ago, people were way nicer to us. So it was kind of funny. But yeah, there's just so much stuff. Teacher throwing chalk at my eye. And if you had to pick a movie that changed your life or changed your outlook on life, what movie would that be? I don't know if there's any specific movie that changed my outlook on things. Not that I can think of specifically. Do you watch your older videos, and did you ever see the 1992 film Arachnophobia? I have seen Arachnophobia. I remember when all the commercials were out for that, the spider crawling on the TV. I like that one. That one's not talked about as much. I sometimes look back. I never really look back on the vlogs too much, like the Around the Towns. Like every so often I'll watch one or two of them. I look back on the old Don and Murph sometimes and stuff. Why do you address your parents by their first names? Well, I talked about that. That's more just for the videos. And I've always, in real life, like if I'm out somewhere, I call them Herb and Gina. And that just sort of stuck from when we went to vacation. We were on the E.T. ride and we used to make up all those fake names. E.T. would go, "Goodbye, Gina. See you later, son." That thing, if you remember the E.T. ride, Universal Florida, E.T. would always say goodbye to you. "Goodbye, son, Gina." It was always really weird and robotic. And that was how I got those names. And Dweebo, I think, you remember that show Rude Dog and the Dweebs? That's kind of how I got the name. I just called them Dweeb. I don't know where it came from, but believe me, it's not their real name is Kim and Steven, but I don't know. Herb and Dweeb, they like that name. And when I'm not on the camera with them, I go, "Mommy, Daddy, you want to know the truth?" Because I don't like the word mother or any of that. That seems weird. I feel like when you go mother, it seems like a Norman Bates thing. Also, Sean, if you've not checked it out yet, watch Dead Snow, sort of like Shockwaves. I do need to watch that one. Sean, how about picking the questions you like and having prepared answers that you can then elaborate on in the videos instead of repeating questions and not remembering things? Sounds good? It's interesting, but sometimes I really just like to come up with whatever I can on the fly. You know what I mean? I don't know. The next question is Piranha 3D for Best Picture. For some reason, I don't know. I think it might have been because I was on that terrible drive across the country and was so stressed. Like when I was driving with MJ, from Maryland to San Diego. I think that might have been why I didn't care for the movie too much. I do need to watch it again. But I think anything during that time would have sucked because that was a terrible drive. And I wanted to be done so bad. I mean, the fact that we made it, I'm really surprised because we didn't get into it in some of the videos, but we got so screwed up in one state when I think that might have been the same time we saw it. We got so screwed up because the exit that you needed, we got off one place and we needed to get on a whole other highway. That's what the GPS was saying. And see, we had no maps, we had nothing. We had the GPS. And if the GPS couldn't get us somewhere, we were screwed. And I remember one of the main entrances to get onto the highway was closed. So I had to try and find how to get on the highway. I didn't even know what highway I was looking for. Oh, what a mess. And then I remember we went to one area and got so confused. It was such a mess. So I do need to rewatch that with a different mindset. Because, if you watch a movie on the wrong mindset, you won't like it as much if you're not, positive and everything. Have you ever seen a film called Alice, Sweet Alice? Really good horror movie. And Don't Look Now. I've seen both those films. Now I love your videos, man. Good to see someone as passionate about horror films as I am. I really liked Alice, Sweet Alice. I think I've heard for a while they were going to remake that. There was one of Brooke Shields' first movie, really early films. That was a really cool one, though. That one guy always creeped me out, that weird, freaky neighbor in it. What was the worst experience you had when you had to travel to get a movie you were acting in? Some of the bad ones were when I had to take the Greyhound to Ohio, and the thing was so late. The bus was late by like 3.5 hours. I had to wait, and then we had to get off the bus at one point, and then I had to take the really late bus, and then I had to get off the bus at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I was exhausted. I didn't know what was going on. Then I had to get back on the bus, and I had to make sure I was listening really carefully when to get on. And at the same time, this dumbass kid in the morning was throwing things all on the ground, bouncing things real loud. I couldn't hear anything. That was really bad. I'm trying to think of some of the other kind of weird experiences. I guess some of them just getting worried that the train was going to get screwed up. Like was in Virginia. If the train back didn't run or I missed it, I would have to wait like 3 days because in the area of Virginia that I was in, West Virginia, the train didn't come through very often. It came through like 3 times a week. So I had to be stressed about that, like if I was going to miss that. Just sort of things like that. Because I usually, when I was on the East Coast, would take trains. Now I'm like flying everywhere. Which, I don't like flying very much. But that's just how it is, and I've learned to deal with it. a lot better than I did. That's all I really could say. I don't think I know of any other ones. I guess one of the other ones that's kind of a pain was when we did Banshee. Me and MJ both were working at the time and working at Regal, the movie theater, and it was one of those nights where we had to work the midnight movie, and we didn't get out till like 1:30. So he came back with me. I drove him back to my house. We had to take the 7 or 8 or something like that train in the morning. It might have been 6 o'clock. And then we had to pack and get things ready. For some reason, we filmed a little video that night, like a Q&A or something. And like we only slept 45 minutes that night. It was terrible. And then we were afraid to sleep on the train because we kept being like paranoid that we would end up missing, the stop, because we didn't know how long it was or anything. I don't know. And so then we got there. We were so beyond tired. We went and walked around this mall before we were ready to shoot. And then me and MJ just said, listen, we got to go back and lay down in the hotel. So like we lay down for like 3 hours. But that was a bad one. I've learned the most important thing when you're doing a movie is to get as much sleep as you can. Because if you don't sleep enough, you cannot give a good performance. That's something I've learned. Where do you get your good looks from? Well, thank you. Your mom or dad? I don't know. I guess both. Did you ever see the first Tron movie? And do you plan on seeing Tron Legacy in theaters? And will you wear the 3D glasses, or are you interested in seeing True Grit? Since these are older, I've seen True Grit and like that a lot. I still have yet to see Tron 3D. I do need to see that. And I have seen the first Tron. Love your videos. Just talked about enjoying Corey Haim films. Did you see Just the Other Girls? I have. The film stands out because it has a cameo and features points from early Canadian pop star Alanis Morissette, who later became huge in the U.S. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the film. Have you ever heard of Radio Free Alberth? It's a sci-fi film that stars Alanis Morissette. It hasn't been released yet, but has had a couple advanced screenings. Will you see this movie? I don't know a lot about that Radio Free one, but I did like Just One of the Girls. It was kind of a copy of Just One of the Guys, which was the 80s one. But Just One of the Girls was cool, though. I think it was made for like Showtime or something. Something like that. Sean, what are your opinions on the following films? The Shining, Donnie Darko, The Truman Show, Punch Drunk Love? I liked all those ones. The Shining is really good. Did not like the remake. It wasn't really a remake, but it was more of Stephen King's version of it, but it wasn't the same. It really wasn't. Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall was so good. Why try and do it again? I know Stephen King didn't like it because it changed it around, but I feel like whatever the changes that were done were good. I don't know. Donnie Darko is a really good one. Don't like the second one, though. But Donnie Darko is very cool. I also would recommend watching the theatrical cut. The director's cut changed some of the music, and I don't know, some of the things were not as cool in that version. The Truman Show, very cool. I love those movies about like being filmed and stuff when you don't know it. And Punch Drunk Love, I haven't watched in a long time. All I can remember about that was him buying those Healthy Choice things and collecting coupons to fly or something. What films do you expect to win Best Picture this year? Do you like any Martin Scorsese films? If so, what are your top 3? Favorite director? What are some films you think are overrated? Well, I talked about most of these, but I guess for films that I think might win, since, Social Network won at the Golden Globes, it's looking very much like that's probably going to be one of the ones that wins. Hey, Sean, what do you think of the movie The Strangers? Also, when you and MJ, what is it usually about? I don't know that. I guess it says when you and MJ question. I don't know. I don't know what that means. Like what I talk about? I don't know. I haven't seen... No, I've seen Strangers. I think we reviewed that a while ago. I didn't absolutely love it, though. I thought it was good, though. But not anything that I really held on to. What are your opinions on the upcoming horror film Scream 4? Have you seen The Bounty Hunter? I have not seen The Bounty Hunter. Scream 4, I think, looks interesting. I will admit, I can tell that Wes Craven, with this one, he didn't write it, but you can tell that it's definitely trying to be very hip and with the times, talking about Twitter and all that stuff. You can tell it's definitely trying to appeal to the people now and to be a real current hip thing. And because the original one was a little bit more throwback kind of thing. And I'm definitely interested in seeing it. I think the cast is decent in this. I really do. And I think it looks very much from the trailer like a low-budget horror movie. And, well, there's a lot of money put into it, but it looks like a low-budget horror movie. And I will say, though, there's a lot of white kind of effect put into it, like a washed-out kind of thing they did to the trailer. I don't know what it is. It's not great. But I'm interested in watching it. Like I said before, I think it's very interesting that everybody's so interested in this, because I can remember when people were going on and on about how Part 3 sucked, and they hated it, and they didn't know why he did it, and what was the matter with him. So it's kind of funny that everybody's changed their tune and are all going crazy like, Scream 4, when they put down Scream 3 so bad. And I'm sure you guys remember, I mean, oh my god, the way it was put down I couldn't even believe. I guess this will be the last one for this part. So I was wondering, have you seen the Bloody Murder films? They are total knockoffs of Friday the 13th. Also, I know you got this one, but I wanted to get into film, more specifically horror. I was wondering if you had any tips to get more known, whatever. Awesome videos. I think I've seen the covers for the Bloody Murder films. I've never seen them, though. I guess tips, like for what I did to get noticed, was just doing the DVD updates. Really got directors to see my stuff. And also to do videos online, like acting examples, to do little shorts, character videos, and things like that, so people have things they can see. So, like, that's what I do. Like, if a director wants to see anything I've done, I just give them a bunch of links to things that I've done. But that's what I would say, is to have a lot of, just try and get as much experience as you can doing, examples and things like that. I guess that's all for this update. I'll have probably a new one in about a week or so, maybe less. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye. Oh yeah, and definitely check out the Mountain of the Flesh Eaters link underneath, and anything, like I said, is a huge help to the director for that one. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.